Okay, so I got a question for you guys. Is this 2025 quarterback class just terrible? If you are a fan of an NFL team and your team is struggling right now, and it's primarily due because of your quarterback position at the current moment, are you excited for the chance of your team drafting one of these guys? Or are you scared to death at what potential pitfalls could come by drafting the next wrong quarterback? I think this draft class has an opportunity to be one of the worst and to be one of the more exciting draft classes as far as being able to follow the quarterbacks and see which ones either come out on top or if they all just kind of falter. So let's go ahead and talk about the 2025 draft class and just kind of give you my honest opinion about some of these guys going forward. First up, we go with the player who is probably going to win the Heisman Trophy Award, Shedeur Sanders, who is, as of right now, projected to be the first quarterback off the board. Of course, Cam Ward may have something to be said about that, but I think for the most part, everybody is putting their eyes on Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur, a lot of great talent. He really does. While Shedeur led the Colorado Buffaloes to a 9-3 record, he threw for 3,926 yards, 35 touchdowns, 8 interceptions with a quarterback rating of 78.1. That gave him a 74.2 completion percentage. Now with Shedeur, he's got pretty good accuracy. He's high-level passer with great accuracy and ball placement. You know, he's more of a gamer, he comes up big in some of those clutch moments, and he's got his athleticism, and he is always going to be that type of quarterback that can have that X factor and kind of bring some people around him. Areas that he's got to improve on is his pocket presence. He doesn't quite use his athleticism enough to escape those pockets very quickly. And also, last year, he was the most sacked quarterback in FBS last season. So sometimes that could come from holding the ball too long, things like that. Now, a whole nother thing that's that is off the field is the Sanders name. Like, do you have to deal with his dad or anything like that? That can turn some people off. They're already saying that he's going to say no to certain teams. I never think that's a good look. But hey, Eli Manning did it, and so did John Elway. I definitely think he's probably the most polished quarterback coming into this NFL draft, but I still think it's going to take a team with the right system and the right pieces around him to make sure that he gets off to a great start, because if he doesn't, then it could all go south. And is he better suited in a higher upscale market or a lower scale market? Next up, we've got quarterback Cam Ward from the University of Miami, where he threw for 4,123 yards, 36 touchdowns to just 7 interceptions with a quarterback rating of 88, which is best in all of college football. And his completion percentage was a little bit lower at 67.4%. So when we're talking about X Factor, I don't think you can get any bigger than Cam Ward. He put Miami on his shoulders so many times, got them out of bad situations, and got them a W on the field. Cam Ward is that type of persona, that type of player that says, put it on my shoulders, we're about to drive down the field, and I'm about to get it done. Outside of being a dynamic playmaker with the football, he's a natural passer. He's got really good arm strength, and he's got pretty good control as far as controlling where that football goes. Now, accuracy issues can pop up every now and then, but where I really feel like he struggles at time is when he's trying to put too much on himself. Too many times when you get quarterbacks with that X factor and put it on my shoulders, you're seeing great plays, and then you see the negative plays, and he has made some costly mistakes in games, and it just kind of leaves yourself as head scratching. I don't want to go as far as to say it about this, but like Jameis Winston, the guy can throw for 500 yards in a football game, but then he can also throw 2 pick sixes with a total of 4 in a game and lose a game by 2 or 3 points. Like, that's kind of what it comes down to when you're a gunslinger. You live by that mentality. And is there a chance we could be talking about Cam Ward in the same light as Jameis Winston? I know some of you guys are going to be thinking, oh my gosh, he's not Jameis Winston. Well, guess what? Jameis Winston was a pretty high profile quarterback coming out of Florida State. And not a lot of people thought that he was going to be like that in the NFL. There was a lot of people who felt like he was a can't miss product. I know he had his own issues, but like, you just never know with these quarterbacks. And could Cam Ward be that next guy? I do think he's the type of player that whoever takes him, the fan base is going to get an injection shot right in the butt, and they're going to be pumped because he's going to give you those plays that you're just thinking, wow, did he really just do that? Next up, let's talk about the quarterback out of the University of Alabama, Jaylen Milroe. Milroe passed for 2,652 yards, 15 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, had a quarterback rating of 82.9, 7th in the country, and his completion percentage was 65.9. Now, trust me, I know we're talking about Jaylen Milroe and we're talking about Alabama, and if you don't love Alabama, then you probably hate Alabama, and you probably don't want anything to do with Jaylen Milroe. And in Jaylen Milroe, when you watch him, my goodness, is it a roller coaster. Early in the season, I was thinking this guy is about to skyrocket through the roof on draft boards, and like he is the next NFL package quarterback that, could be like a Lamar Jackson and all those things. And then the valleys hit of the peaks, and it's just, man, it can look so good at some moments and it can look so bad, and you're thinking, why in the world did he just throw that ball? Pros, he has elite athleticism. Maybe no one else is better at what he can do with his legs than Jaylen Milroe. Very strong arm talent. He possesses the ability to make all the necessary throws at the NFL level. He's got the playmaking ability. He's got pro-style experience. And you can tell he's a leader on the football field. But he's got cons. Of course, he's very inconsistent with his throwing mechanics, and at times you see him try to make those ad-lib type of throws, and it just keeps you scratching your head. His field vision seems off at times. Too many times I tend to see him throw when receivers are open rather than throw receivers open. And of course, we all know in the NFL, those windows are going to be tighter. And then his pocket presence, okay? He tends to bail out of clean pockets due to pressure awareness concerns, which can hinder his ability to deliver accurate passes within that pocket. And those, when you're talking about the NFL, you've got to be able to hang in there. You've got to be able to sit in the pocket no matter what sort of pressure you're going to be able to get to in the NFL. And then at times, he hits on the deep balls, and then he just misses by quite a bit. So his deep ball is definitely going to have to get better. Okay, so now let's talk about our boy Carson Beck. And no, he's not my boy. Carson Beck threw for 3,429 yards passing, 28 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, quarterback rating of 81.6, 10th in the country. His completion percentage, 58.2. I'm sorry, but I do not think Carson Beck is an NFL quarterback. I think he's barely a college quarterback. There's plenty of people out there who feel like Carson Beck is what holds Georgia Bulldogs back from being another elite team. I just don't see it with Carson Beck. Sure, he can have some good games every now and then, but then he throws 3 picks in one game. I think he threw 3 picks in back-to-back games. Like, he's just not good to me. He's too inconsistent, and I know he's falling in the draft boards, and someone's like, oh, you could probably get good value by taking him in the 2nd or 3rd round, maybe in the 4th round, and then all of a sudden he's not. I'm going to stand on this. He's not going to be a good NFL quarterback. He's got the size. He's got the build. At times he can be an accurate passer. His timing can be pretty good, but against pressure, he flat out sucks way too many times. And then there's already people talking about his arm talent is very limited. He doesn't have the biggest arm. I'm telling you right now, I'm a Tennessee Titans fan, and if they ever take Carson Beck in the third round, I'm going to lose my ever-loving mind. Next up, quarterback Quinn Ewers, Texas Longhorns, threw for 2,307 yards, 24 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Quarterback rating of 71.4, 32nd in the country. Not very good. With a completion percentage, which was not bad, 68.1. Here's the thing. Is Quinn Ewers even the best quarterback on his team? I mean, he's not. I really personally thought Quinn Ewers had a good chance, and I think he still has an opportunity in the pros. I think he's a project. But it's just kind of going in the wrong direction for me on Quinn Ewers. He's got good arm talent. He's mobile enough. And you hear coaches talk about his pre-snap recognition is up there with some of the elites, and he's able to get in and check in and out of the plays at a very young age. And, he can develop, of course. But his decision-making on the field has just been too inconsistent, and he's made too many bad plays. These bad plays could be whether it's decision-making or accuracy concerns. Every time he has an opportunity to take that next step, I just feel like he doesn't do it. And I get this bad feeling that every time big moments happen, he has not been able to come up clutch enough. And then the biggest thing is, I've always heard your best ability is availability. And as of right now, he's been injured way too much. And that is, when you're talking about drafting a franchise quarterback, and if that's one of your big concerns, it's not good. Now, let's talk about a dark horse a little bit. Garrett Nussmeier. Passed for 3,739 yards for LSU, 26 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 79 quarterback rating, 14th in the country with a 63.7% completion percentage. And I don't know how many people's high on Nussmeier, but when I watch him play, there's an opportunity there. He's not flashy. He's not going to be someone who gets all the headlines or things like that. But when I watch him play, I think he makes NFL throws after NFL throws. He has the big arm. He's got elite arm talent. He's got a quick release. And you just feel like he's got a really good football IQ. And to me, he looks poised under pressure. Now, yes, he can force some throws that he doesn't need to. And he has had some durability concerns. He's 6'2", 200 pounds, so kind of needs to beef up a little bit. And you kind of get the thoughts of people think he's more of a game manager rather than a game changer. And I don't know if that's what you always want with a franchise quarterback, but I've seen I know when you hear Kirk Cousins, you don't get your socks knocked off. But Kirk Cousins has had a great and long career, and with the right people around him, he could potentially win a Super Bowl. I don't know if Kirk Cousins ever will, but he is a really good game manager. Now, with Garrett Nussmeier, I think he's not even going to come out to the draft. I think he's going to wait another year, and that could be big. That's what I would suggest for Nussmeier. If he comes back another year to LSU and he elevates his game, now you're talking about a guy who could be up there at the top of the draft. Okay, and I know that there's other quarterbacks in the draft, but I just wanted to hit on those few big key guys. One stat that really did stand out to me, Shedeur Sanders has by far the best completion percentage at 74.2, which is, I didn't know it was that high. That's pretty dang good. And then also Cam Ward having a quarterback rating of 88, which is the highest in the country. I didn't know it was that high neither. I definitely think Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward have the best opportunity to be that franchise quarterback for sure. And they're going to go high in the draft just because it's supply and demand with the quarterback position. But it's still buyer beware with both Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. Can Shedeur Sanders, lead an NFL team, lead men, and be able to keep his head on his shoulders and not have to worry about. And also, he's had the best wide receiver in the country playing with them. Like, what does he look like without that guy? And then Cam Ward, he could be a boomer or bust type of guy. Once again, I said Jameis Winston. You just never know. Everybody else outside of that is a project to me. And so if you're a fan of an NFL team and your team absolutely has to have a quarterback going forward, unfortunately, it might not be the best draft. There is no clear-cut number one quarterback coming in this draft. If you think it's Shedeur Sanders, you're just pulling at strings right now. When you compare him to other number one quarterbacks in the NFL drafts, it's not even comparable. That's where I stand with it. I want to know from you guys, do you have the same feeling I have about this quarterback class coming out, or am I way too hard on this class? Is there going to be more diamonds in the rough? Could 3 or 4 quarterbacks make it out of this, or is it going to be one of those classes where we just look back and it's man, everybody's just sucked as an NFL quarterback? Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments section below. As always, like this video. If you're still watching from this point, you must like what you saw or heard. So hit that subscribe button. Join this team for more football news and film breakdowns going forward. And as always, stay humble, stay kind. Peace.